welcome to the Lunar Review and welcome to Capricorn season. Capricorn is a yin sign that occurs in the yin time of year. And how appropriate. It is snowing right now in back of me, and it's also it's dusk. Night is coming on. So this is just a perfect time to talk about a yin sign that occurs in a yin time of year. So we say that Capricorn is a yin sign because it's feminine in nature, and we say it's a yin time of year because we have just entered winter. Winter solstice has just occurred. We are officially in the season of Capricorn. So in Chinese medicine, we have the theory of Yin and Yang. It's a Taoist, based on Taoist philosophy, and yin. So the yin qualities are cold, moist. The direction is downward. It's also inward. It's represented by qualities of stillness and yielding. There is like a slow and heavy component to yin. It is negative, meaning that something is being taken away. So it also represents rest and contraction and decline and death. It's represented by nighttime, by winter, by the moon, and by mother. So on the other side, we've got yang, and yang qualities are represented by heat and dryness, brightness. The direction of yang is up and out. It's a very active, forceful energy. It's fast, it's quick, it's light, it's positive, meaning that it's adding something. It's represented by growth and expansion, vitality, life, by the sun, by the summer, by daytime, by daylight, and represents the father. So basically, everything in the universe contains, and I mean everything in the universe contains yin and yang in varying degrees, and they're always in motion. And it just is a matter of which force is dominating at that particular time. So these forces are opposite, but they are complementary and they depend on each other. Capricorn is a sign that is actually touching death. It has made contact with it. Whereas the autumn is the season, it's the active process of dying, and we can see that reflected in the leaves, how beautiful they look going from green to, these spectacular oranges and reds, and we can see how beautiful and glorious that process can be. So the autumn is, it's time for letting go. But by the time we get into Capricorn, the season of death and decay, it has arrived. And we can understand Capricorn further by looking at its opposite sign, which is Cancer. Cancer is opposite on the zodiac wheel. Cancer is best known, is represented by the qualities of warmth and abundance and fertility. It's emotional. It's heart-based living. Cancer has a desire to nurture and be nurtured, and is very driven by security. The moon is at home, is in domicile in the sign of Cancer. That's because Cancer can express the qualities of the moon very easily. The moon is our emotional side. It is how we seek, how we feel secure. It's also who we are, an instinct. Before we think about things, before the filters come on, it's just who we are without thinking at all. And interestingly, Capricorn is in its detriment when it's in the moon. And this is because the sign, the moon's cannot express her qualities fully through Capricorn. Capricorn is much more reserved. It's cooler emotionally. So Capricorn does not want to be vulnerable. So this makes it harder to make emotional connections with other people. However, it's not all bad, because with the Capricorn moon sign, this means that there is a real maturity when it comes to relationships and a sense of responsibility. And this could be someone who is not a slave to their emotions, and they're not going to make wild, rash decisions, on impulse. Okay, so Capricorn is, a yin sign in the yin time of the year. And it's obvious because in the winter, we have less light. We have the sun setting much earlier and rising much later. So that's the winter solstice, when we have less daylight hours. And that's why Capricorn is such a cold, more harsh, infertile time of the year. And this is contrasted to Cancer, where Cancer is also a yin sign, but Cancer has the life-giving sun, that great big ball of fire that gives us light and warmth. And with the yang, with the sun occurring in the summertime in the season of Cancer, Cancer is yin, but it has that correct balance with yin and yang to produce life, to let life flourish. But however, the time of Cancer, this yin time in the yin, this yin sign in the yin time of the year, is equally as important because an incredible amount goes on in the dark, in the shadows where we can't see things. Life flourishes here in its own way, in a very different way. And it's without drama, without fanfare. It's not even visible. And you can think of it as the fetus growing inside the womb, especially from the time of conception. So at that moment, there is an exponential explosion of growth going on. I mean, cells are being proliferated at a rate that will never be repeated. The structures of what will be a human being are all being built. And this is going on fast and furious, and we can't see it. A lot of women at conception don't even know they're pregnant. So this is an equally potent, it's a more latent type of potency, but this time of year is essential to initiate the cycle of life. It's the quietest, darkest, most still time of the year. And now it's really just a time to hunker down, stay warm, stay in control of yourself, conserve all your energy and all your resources. A lot of wintertime qualities are embodied by the sign of Capricorn. And it's interesting because in Chinese medicine, we have a piece of advice for people in winter. And that advice is just simply avoid trauma. And it's really simple. It's just a time where you don't want to take these unnecessary chances and risks, because if you are injured or you get sick during this time, it's just going to take longer to recover. The energy is heavier. It's not going to support a speedy recovery. So in that way, we say, okay, just take it easy and don't take any, don't take any crazy risks. Don't show off. Don't completely put yourself out there. But on the other side, there's a saying in Chinese medicine that winter can be the most generous season. And it's because, again, this season is just asking you to be quiet and still and go inward and to consolidate all of your mental and physical resources. You're going to need them for the long winter ahead. And even traditionally, there's usually no hunting or very little hunting this time of year. Gathering, certainly no berry picking, no work in the garden to be done. And interestingly, even wars have been known to take a hiatus. The battleground is too fierce. So, springtime was, battle season. So it's really a time when it's more than okay. It's like you're supposed to be, less social and going to bed earlier and getting up later and not engaging in idle chit chat or, just completely avoiding petty drama. Yeah, because right now, any resources lost are going to be very hard to replenish. So the Capricornian qualities of rationing and just this long-term planning, that's what's warranted for this season. So Capricorn has a deep understanding of the death cycle. And they really understand and can see the way that all things are going to die, wither, decay, that they will exist no more. So a Capricorn can see a dead body and not be horrified by it. They can see this body and know that when it's in the ground, the flesh will be eaten by microbes. And when there's only bones left, these bones are going to disintegrate. And the minerals from these bones are going to nourish the soil. So in this way, this body is actually an intrinsic part of the cycle of life. So I think that Capricorn has a deep, even philosophical understanding of this, and a material understanding, because they can use this knowledge in a practical way with limited time and limited resources. They will ask, what is the best use? What is the best thing that we can possibly build? What will bring the most benefit to people? What is the thing that will be substantial and will last? They have this ability to pick the right idea and to initiate and start and continue. They're an earth sign, so they can continue this arduous process of building. That's why they want to know for sure that what they're building is viable, useful, and is going to last. So what's worthy? So they're going to say, so they're always going to ask, what is the most worthy thing that we can be doing with our time and our resources? Capricorn is known for being conservative, traditional, minimalist. It really wants to use the least amount of resources and get the maximum productivity out of them. And I think this sign is not necessarily risk averse, but I think this sign is needless risk averse. That this is a dangerous time of the year. A lot's at stake. Survival is at stake. And that if something isn't broken, don't fix it, because there are other safer times of the years to take chances and to gamble and to radically change or alter something. So at this time of year, yes, it's just best to stick with what has worked and take the conservative approach. I think what helps to put Capricorn in context is to look at the sign preceding it and the sign that comes after it. So preceding, we have Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's yang in nature and it's mutable. Sagittarius is well known and loved for being, a fun sign. It is able to see the big picture. It can look at such weighty, abstract subjects like spirituality and religion and philosophy and just bring a whole new dimension to everything and come up with brilliant new ideas. The sign also is about integrity and wants to be live a moral life as well. So I think that when the energy shifts from Sagittarius to Capricorn, Capricorn can take those big lofty ideals that Sagittarius has spawned and it can ground them. Since Capricorn is an earth sign, it can ground them and it can take them and make them into a reality. And I also think this is where Capricorn gets its law-abiding moral nature, is that this has come from Sagittarius. So the next sign we have is Aquarius. And Aquarius is a fixed air sign that is yang, masculine in nature. And where I think Capricorn meets Aquarius is on top of the mountain, because the symbol of Capricorn is the mountain goat. And so the mountain goat slowly but surely, steadily just goes up. It ascends, goes up to the mountain, gets to that peak where, not many reach, but it gets there. And it is at this top of the mountain where the baton, so to speak, is handed off to Aquarius. So now here we have Aquarius on top of the mountain, this solid, firm structure that has been built by the blood, sweat, and tears, the self-motivated Capricorn. So now Aquarius, which is a sign associated with genius and a real humanitarian focus, that at this point Aquarius has this solid base in which it can just expand its mind into these genius realms, and in this way focus on these ideas and these things that are going to, absolutely revolutionize and change society. So in this way, huge changes are initiated for all of society. Well, I think this is the end, and when I look outside the window and I can see it's the yin time of the day, night has settled in, I think this is a perfect time to say goodbye. It was a pleasure. I'll see you again. Thanks for listening.